Welcome to the Inside Track. Today we're with Danielle from Danielle Victoria Design Studio to chat about their creative processes and what inspires their designs. Danielle, tell us how you began your career in interior design.
I studied interior architecture straight out of school. My family had a skylight company, which my dad started when he was 19. So I think building, construction, design is in my blood. And my family and I were very involved in that company. So I think it was quite a natural progression to move on to interior design and choosing that as a career.
Love that. What type of projects do you specialise in?
We specialise in medium to high-end residential design. So we are mostly doing end-to-end residential interiors, renovations and extensions.
So where do you draw your inspiration from for your projects?
From real life. So I am very practical. I have a large family myself. So I really understand what clients are wanting in their homes. We all want open plan living. We want really good materials that are going to last and be durable for family living, pets and kids. And we all want storage. So I love being able to maximize storage throughout the house and finding really practical solutions for my clients.
That's really cool, drawing from your own
Yes.
personal experiences. So how do you balance functionality and aesthetics in your projects?
Okay. Above all else, the house has to be functional. So form and function go together. So we are basically problem solvers for our clients. So if they have said to us, I really need a large laundry, but I don't want it to be downstairs. I want it to be up on the main living areas of the house, off the kitchen. So we're there to deliver a space that works for them. So we can make anything look amazing, but it's the functionality of the home that is of the utmost importance.
So Danielle, could you walk us through what a typical design process looks like for you?
It all starts with a really deep understanding of our clients. So I ask them like a long list of questions, like what's the drive here for them? Why do they want to renovate? What problems can we solve? So before we even deliver that first concept design, I've really gotten to know my clients, their family, and why they're doing the renovations in the first place. And then we go into the concept design, so choosing the materials, solving the layouts of the home as well. So the planning is, as I said before, is absolutely key. And then we go into design documentation, so actually bringing those designs to life and drawing all of the elevations and reflected ceiling plans and all the detailing that goes into building that house. Before we then move on to construction, and which we're heavily involved in that stage. So yes, you do have 3 stages. So stage 1 is the concept, stage 2 is the design documentation, and stage 3 is construction and completion of that project.
Yeah, that's interesting. Really making sure the time is spent at the design stage or the initial concept stage to make sure that when you get to the construction stage, everything's sorted.
Yes.
You can build it according to plan.
It's really about listening. You really have to listen to what your client is telling you. Sometimes they can't articulate what the problem is. So it's my job to really listen and understand what they're really saying. And often you're working with a couple and they have different needs. So it's also about like solving those as well, and really listening and understanding, how they live, what they want to get the most out of their house, which is also, such an asset, and how we can add value to their lifestyle and to their property.
So Danielle, how do you think mouldings help transform a space?
Mouldings are such a key element in the design because it really drives the design style. So if I'm designing an Art Deco home, I am going to be choosing a skirting and an architrave that is completely different from if I'm doing a modern country farmhouse. So I love that I can jump online and see all the different products and the categories that you put your products into. So if I am doing a Hampton style home, I will definitely look at the Hamptons products that Interim suggest, and then I can pick and choose the ones that I think are appropriate for my client, that match the ceiling heights and the style of the home properly.
What's one key piece of advice that you'd give to someone thinking about using mouldings in a renovation or a new build?
I think you just really need to be clear on the style. So again, choosing your skirtings and architraves to select the right design style that you're trying to achieve, but also not overdoing it. So sometimes we'll have a skirting and architrave and just a chair rail. In other projects, we will incorporate wainscoting or wall paneling, VJ wall paneling. But I think you just need to be careful not to overdo and just really show some restraint sometimes, because, you know, there's so many beautiful products that Interim have that can really, I don't know, showcase the house and really give a lot of style and character. But I think you just need to sometimes pare that back, and less is more.
Absolutely, less is more. And
Yes.
often when you have, say, in the main entry and then the kitchen and let's say the living room, you've got some mouldings or wainscoting. Having that just in those spaces actually makes it more of a feature than having it everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think that, you know, the entryway of a home is, you know, the first place you see other than the front entrance of the outside of the house. So just putting in some beautiful wall paneling or a chair rail or wainscoting, whatever the sort of layout suggests, is a great place to add some extra detail. It doesn't mean you have to carry that through to the whole house interiors.
What's one design mistake you see people often make with mouldings?
I think the mistake you can make is not getting the right proportions. So if you have 3-meter ceilings, you want to make sure you pick a skirting height that's going to relate to that. So if you're picking a 90 mil skirting board, it's going to look extremely underwhelming when you've got beautiful high ceilings. So that's something that you just need to be mindful of, that you have the right ratio there for the heights and of the ceiling, and then the heights of the skirting boards.
That's true. It's often a common mistake. You see the skirting's, oh, we'll just put in a small one and leave it. But having a high skirting board can actually accentuate the higher ceilings and fill in the room, can't it?
Yes, exactly. I mean, even when I am selecting a skirting, you know, I look at the website and you have a great guide that tells you, you know, the right skirting height for your ceiling height. So we always check that. I'm always looking at the detail as well on the skirtings, and I really like to ensure that the top of the skirting doesn't leave like a big level for dust to collect on. So again, I'm designing for families. So you really want practical solutions for the selections that you're putting into their home.
What is one tip you'd give to someone who's never specified mouldings before?
Firstly, I would say look at your website. There's a lot of inspiration on the Interim website, and there's so many ways to use mouldings. We use them a lot in bathrooms because it just adds an elevated look to a bathroom. It makes the bathroom look more like a living space. I think we've moved away from fully tiling all the walls in the bathroom. It's quite a sort of an outdated look. And it also then, you know, is cost saving as well, because the client isn't having to spend unnecessary amounts of, you know, money on tiling all of the walls.
It's a practical tip, like looking online, see how other people have used mouldings and then borrow that idea for yourself. You don't have to try and think about it all yourself.
No, exactly. I mean, I use wainscoting a lot in walls and to frame certain things. So I'll know then, you know, I'll make sure the robe hooks or the heated towel rails are centered on the wainscoting. So it's just a beautiful design element that really enriches the house design.
Do you have a favourite type of space to design?
Well, I would say yes, the heart of the home, the kitchen.
Yeah.
It's so enjoyable to design. Because you really have to think about how the family is using that space. Do they cook a lot? Do they like to entertain? Do they like to cook together? How many people are using that space? And that really dictates the kitchen style. So whether it's a galley kitchen or an L-shaped kitchen, obviously the walls of that space make up the kitchen design, but it's really about how the users of that home can use that space.
Yeah, so kitchen is very much what you referred to earlier, having a space that's both functional
Yes.
and looks beautiful as well.
Exactly. And, there's nothing more like rewarding than when a client, emails me, months after the project's finished and just says just how much they love using their kitchen. They never knew it could be so practical and beautiful, and they're able to now entertain, whereas they couldn't do that before. So you're really enriching people's lives, especially in the kitchen.
What's the most unusual request you've received from a client?
So we are designing a lot of features now for pets. So we're always have been designing, with children in mind as well. But we recently designed a dog feeding station as part of the kitchen. It was integrated into one of the kitchen joinery units, tucked away on the side, and has, its own beautiful stone bench top and integrated dog bowls. So that was a lot of fun to design.
That's cool. I like that. A little mini kitchen for the dog.
Yes, exactly.
So what is one piece of advice you give to someone considering a career in interior design?
Just go for it. Have confidence in yourself, and you're always evolving and learning on every project. And look, it's life-changing for our clients, and that's like one of the most exciting things for me is changing people's lives.
So Danielle, thank you very much for having me here today to chat with you and learn about how your design process works.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming in. It's been so lovely just being able to talk through what we do from our start to finish process and just how we do use your products in all of our projects. So thank you for coming.